Hi, welcome to Fakes. We're testing an idea in how to transform failure into success. One of the things that we are looking here is in which way we really have a lot of questions every time that help us to figure out the solutions or how we move forward. In that sense, Fakes, one of the points that we are doing is working with intelligent machine learning concept is getting some articles about a specific subject. That subject in some direction allow us to read very interesting points about, for instance, if we talk about excellence or success, what is the difference, what are the key differences between them, and how the success or excellence help us to do some specific things. In that direction, we are going to use this approach and taking our three first articles that we has been selected to have a common discussions among a group in order to generate a collective learning. One point is, for instance, the 8 keys of excellence. And for that purpose, the goal here is that I will be reading that article, and that article I will be using a tool that is called Digo. Digo is a tool that allows me to create library of things and then generate some kind of notes, like here, if flip failure into success, what are some of the points important that I want to record in a way that I can take as a learning activities. For that purpose, we're going to activate our plugin that is installed within our browser. We are asked for the annotate capability, and we're going to select a color that we like it. In this case, I will go to green because it's much easier to see over this background color. And when I see the article, 8 Keys of Excellence, I was reading about this article, and I found some very critical points. For instance, failure leads to success. Learn from mistakes. That is the kind of things that in Silicon Valley you hear every time that failing is a way of learning. And I try to see, okay, here is viewing failures as a feedback. Here is a key point that provides information that we need to learn. I agree very much in that point, and in this article is one of the points that say that is one of the keys for success, as you can see in the title that we have here. In that part, I see that to live this key successful, we may need to change the way that we think. And here is another very important thing: change the way we think about failure. And in that point, I'm going to extend that to keep it into the same line of thinking. Viewing failure as a negative part is something that for us is very complex, and usually we feel that if we fail, we lost a lot of things. And no, we think that failure is a valuable learning experience. From this point, we might be reluctant to try different things because we are afraid to fail. And that's a very common thing. And the fear of failure does nothing but keep us in the comfort zone. That is maybe one of the most critical elements that we face every time. After reading these elements, I can go to another point. And for instance, I like and say, okay, make it this every moment. Is very hard, is we need to keep our positive attitude, and then not only the positive attitude, is we need to focus in doing things, keeping going, and say, okay, this is an attitude that make the present. That, in my feeling, is one of the most critical parts. And if you like to do something, well, if you don't have commitment, you're never going to make your dreams happen. There are the 3 elements that I really love from these A1s. There are other ones that can be very interesting: flexibility, balance. But in my point of view, that are the most critical elements that I see. From that point, I say, okay, that's very interesting. I want to save that annotation in my library. And then one of the points that I want to see is the list of elements that I got from my reading of the document. I will copy all them and say, okay, are added into my clipboard, and I'm going to stop right now doing some annotations. and go into a different mode than is, okay, how this information I can share that to my friends. We have here an element and say, okay, what are the key elements of excellence? And the point is I can generate my own answer about this subject. And I'm going to copy these elements here and try to elaborate in that sense. Failure to lead excellence is learn from the mistakes, and I am able to generate here some thoughts about this idea. Is I want to see here that in some direction I want to have a, okay, let me put here in this way. That's a much nicer way to write things. Failure to success, learn from the mistakes. And I'm going to see a very interesting and unique way of working that is fail fast to succeed faster. That's a very common phrase here in Silicon Valley that encourages you to try things, break things, and after you do the breaking is how you learn about that. In that sense, we can generate a full set of ideas. I'm not going to get all the points right now. And then I will save my answers in a way that I can submit to be used for discussions that is generated and created some way of keeping that talks that I generate. And as you can see here, okay, is my points of view. I can generate some comments, so you can generate some comments, and then you are able to vote to say my points of view are like it, you see are good. And the idea here is all the people in the team that are working into the same project have access to this specific area, and that specific area is going to help you to generate a common knowledge that later some person is going to read all these things in a way that, as you can see here, is we have the success of excellence, a common set of things where we have these ideas all together, and then from these discussions, how we can generate a path to keep it some way to doing. I choose the wrong questions. Let me go back and say, okay, it's not success, it's the eight keys of excellence. The 8 keys of excellence is here my thoughts. You can add some comments about the question. You can add some comments about my points of view, or you can add your own answer and share with you your thoughts. That's the way we are working today, and we hope this explanation helps you to understand what we are looking to achieve in a way that later on we are going to generate a knowledge base, and that knowledge base is going to be the results of the conclusions of the summaries of each discussion. Thank you very much for your attention, and I am looking forward to see working with us in this alpha test of our idea.